What is up, YouTube? It is your boy Suki, and we are back with another video. Last time we finished up the rendering of Volume 10 for the Kairu Arc collection that I've been making. This time we're just continuing off the sketch that I started yesterday. The inspiration behind this sketch is right here. Hold on. Right here is my character, Timmy. For those of you that don't know me or you're not close to me, Timmy is my alter ego. I've drawn Timmy quite a lot on this journey of mine. Hold on, I'm gonna show you. I've drawn Timmy a lot. Timmy is quite famous on this page. I think the first time that I drew Timmy was on my Kindle. Not here. Where's it at? Nah, it's not this far down. It's up a bit. Yeah, right here. This is the first time I ever drew Timmy. Like I said, Timmy's my alter ego. Timmy is the crash out. Timmy, he seeks violence. What inspired Timmy? What inspired me to make Timmy? I got this lime ski mask. And I was like, yeah, you gotta make this a character. So from this point forward, Timmy became he became a character in my Bloom to Death world. And out of everybody, I'd say he's the biggest crash out. So what inspired this piece specifically? Like I said, Timmy's the alter ego. And for most people, their alter ego, it is the part of themselves that they wouldn't want society to embrace normally. I was inspired by, a lot of my pieces are inspired by song lyrics. This one specifically, I Hate Everything About You by 3 Days Grace. That's why we see Timmy here, like, visibly about to crash out at the thought of me. Because we're polar opposites. We're polar opposites. Timmy hates playing it safe. Timmy hates being the patient. Being the patient person. Timmy hates all of that shit. Timmy is the get it by any means type nigga. So yeah, we're gonna follow through with this and see where it goes. So right now I have the rough draft sketch layer. I'm gonna try something different today, because normally I do very straight line art, but I definitely want to try something new today. I want to try to not do line art anymore and try coloring on a very refined and not messy sketch, if I'm making sense. So what we're gonna do is we're going to first off merge these two layers down. Then we're going to hit select, and we're gonna make this turn blue. Then we're gonna turn the opacity down. Cool. Now we're gonna turn that back black, start a new layer. We're gonna go to clean sketch, and it's time to do our, what we would call, line art layer. And as I'm going through that, I'm gonna do my typical yapping. So I do this thing in my class where I teach words that are difficult to pronounce and then not normally heard. But also, I teach words that are commonly heard, however, very wrongfully used. So, for example, I taught the word gaslight because I hear my students and adults use that word very incorrectly. And as a fellow nerd and lover of new words and words in general, y'all using gaslight in the wrong context pisses me off. I hate when gaslight is used incorrectly. But yeah, I've been teaching new words, and yesterday's word was Meraki. Meraki. And keeping it simple, Meraki just simply means to do something with love, with passion, with a deep found creativity. And we got to talking about, what it is that they love to do, and if they feel Meraki while doing it. So my hidden objective with that was to see if they could explain to me how they feel it without me having to ask. And only one of them was able to do that. And this particular friend accurately described to me how they feel while doing said subject, and the joy it brings them, what inspired them to do it. And I was telling the class, I was like, the goal for me with this exercise was to see if one or more than one of you could describe to me how that feels like. Because when I asked the question, how? A lot of them looked at me and they were like, what do you mean, how? So I'm glad that one of them was able to accurately, describe to me how does it feel when you're doing these things? How do you feel Meraki? I explained to them what it is I love to do. And we've had these talks before about what it is I love to do, what my passions are. Obviously it's art, but it's more than just art. It's also content creation. I love content creation. I love making these videos. I love streaming. I love engaging with communities. I love seeing other content creators. I'm not liking how that eye is turning out. I'm liking that a bit better. Like I said, the goal is less line arty, more clean sketchy. So yeah, let me know in the comments what makes you feel Meraki. What do you like to do that makes you feel Meraki. I'm not getting the desired effect here. Time to start over. Maybe I need to make my lines bigger. See, I'm liking that. A bit more detail there. It'll all pan out once I get this base stuff done. Um, Once again, make sure y'all staying safe out here, man. Um, Epstein files just released, and sad thing is, it's not even all of it. It is a very small percentage of what we actually are supposed to have. There's 6 million files in total, and so far, we only have 3 million of them. And if you have not read them, just know it's really fucked up. And it's scary, because even with what we have, there's a lot redacted. It's a lot going on in those files, and once again, we don't have all of them, and I imagine we might not see all of them either for a while or period, because again, it incriminates who's in power right now. But to see what we saw already, if it didn't make you question who's in power before, it definitely should now. I was talking with my homies about this yesterday. People trying to play God. I was talking with my uncle about this shit too. Me and him both agree that right now it really is just history repeating itself. That's why I'm not really shocked. Like, obviously the shit bothers me because I'm a human being, right? But at the same time, I'm not shook by it, because again, it really is just history repeating itself. I'm not saying that makes that shit right, but it really is just history repeating itself. Shit's sick. On the bright side, though, Trump is about 5 votes away from getting impeached, so hopefully the people in power actually do some fucking good. So one thing that I try to do with my lines is make them, what the fuck is that? The fun part of digital art. Lines that you did not fucking draw. One thing that I try to do with my lines and heavy on tries, make them as like smooth as possible. And not like this, like, okay, gotta make it as straight as I can. Oh shit. I don't do that shit, but you feel me? Confident lines, as they're called. So obviously in real life, I'm not nearly as swole as this nigga is. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty heavy set. I'm planning on getting back in the gym soon. But for this particular volume, I wanted to make them swole. I love revisiting my childhood. And I do that to see my difference in perspective. I do that quite a lot, actually. I do it almost every year. And particularly, I did this watching High School Musical recently. And I just want to say, I'm watching High School Musical, right? I'm particularly watching High School Musical 3. I watched 2 a couple weeks ago. 2 is my favorite, by the way. Best one out of the trilogy, in my opinion. So I'm watching 2, right? And I thought this as a kid, but I think it all the more now as an adult. Gabriella ass is hella dramatic. Listen, the first movie I understood, right? Because it's like, it felt like Troy was playing in her face when they set him up and shit. That makes sense. I'm expecting that from a freshman in high school, or were they sophomores at that point? I don't fucking know. But I'm expecting that early high school. That's valid. Here's why I say her ass is dramatic. I'm watching 2, right? Again, her crash out is valid, right? Sharpay is hoeing the shit out of them. But you did not need to make a whole 3 to 4 minute song about leaving the job. Listen, all I'm saying is, you don't fuck with the job, all my niggas just quit. That's what we do. Me and all my niggas just quit. I don't know what the hell Gabriella ass was doing. Real shit. So then I start watching High School Musical 3. I don't know what it is with this girl and these dramatic ass songs. Bruh. The first one, again, valid. The second one, while it is a banger, me and all the real niggas sang that song, bruh. We was all in the PlayStation party. We all knew our lines, our cues, whatever. I was Troy, the homie was Gabriella. We all love that song, right? What about us? What about everything we've been through? We love that song. But it was unnecessary. I've got to move on and be who I am. Girl, you could just say you quit. So then the third song, Walk Away, right? I don't think that was necessary. She in the car talking about, walk away, walk away. Her mom looking at her like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You gonna see this nigga in like a week. I don't know. I've always felt that Gabriella was being a bit dramatic. I'm not gonna lie. The second thing I observed, and I started to pick this up more as a teenager, Taylor was not her friend. She was, but she was not at the same time. Like, I feel like Taylor was a hating ass bitch. Let me elaborate on what I mean, because I feel like this might get taken out of context. First movie. Actually, throughout the whole series, I genuinely feel like she was not Team Troy at all. Like, she was preying on that relationship's downfall hella bad, bro. The first movie, I get it, right? Because in the first movie, again, there's that status quo there, right? Nerds don't fuck with jocks. Jocks are like, there's that typical high school hierarchy, right? Jocks don't fuck with nerds. Nerds don't fuck with jocks. Alt kids don't fuck with jocks. Shit like that, right? But then they break the status quo. Everybody's cool, kumbaya, right? We get to the second movie. She felt like Troy was on some fuck shit when Sharpay kind of like, and Sharpay was glazing. Sharpay was trying to get to Troy, this is true, but Troy, he was holding it down for a little bit. There was a particular scene in High School Musical 2 that she was like, well, wake up, sister. Like, it was that scene on the golf course, and she was trying to like make Gabriella believe that like Troy was on some fuck shit because she didn't tell Gabriella about his golf shoes. Like, they didn't both have opposing schedules, and like the manager wasn't already up Gabriella's ass. I'm not gonna justify Troy's behavior in that movie either, because I feel like if I'm eating and my homies are not, and I put my homies on, that's gonna bother me, and I'm gonna request to stay at the same level that my homies is at. Same time, if I just got a promotion and I'm working and I don't have the time to make it to you to tell you about my new golf shoes, please don't get in your head about it. And don't let your friend gas you up like it's a bigger deal. I'm trying to get this money. So, third movie. Again, I don't know if this is hating or not. I don't know. It just felt like hater ass energy. And I'm going to tell you why. Because there's a scene where her and Gabriella are on the bed and they're talking about futures, right? And she feels like Gabriella's tripping for wanting to wait another year before going to Stanford. Now, Stanford is a very prestigious college, for real. And Taylor's like essentially trying to say that, one, there's more fish in the sea. I get that he's your first crush, but it's not worth throwing your future away. And first off, the word crush is crazy. That scene alone indicated to me that Taylor really does not fuck with Troy. And Taylor, throughout the entirety of the movies, has not fucked with Troy. At every given moment, Taylor's character was hating on Troy actively. But ironically, she's dating his best friend. That's besides the point, though. I don't hate Taylor's character. I want to make that known. I actually fuck with Taylor. She's very much about her bag, respectfully. And she also knows, like, her worth. She knows her value. That's why she didn't just accept when Chad was like, hey, I'm asking you to prom. Like, no, nigga, you gonna give me my flowers. This gonna be a grand motherfucking gesture. Everybody in this motherfucker better know that you taking me to prom, nigga. And is. Man. There's it's so fun going back and watching my childhood and just seeing the difference in perspectives. Same thing with old shows that I used to watch, like as a teenager and as a kid. Cause I remember rewatching On My Block recently with my girlfriend. Well, not recently, but like a couple months back. And You know, as I'm rewatching it, I'm like, why the hell? Like, I know why we fucked with Smokey, but same time, why did we fuck with Smokey? That nigga was a creep. Listen, I know that nigga died and shit, but like, we know what he did for Caesar, but we're not gonna ignore the fact that this nigga was low-key crushing on Monse. That's weird. And niggas would probably try to justify it like, well, that's common. I'm like, yeah, just because it's fucking common doesn't make it fucking right. Fucking weirdos. Alright. I'm gonna go back and add all the small details later. I just want to get the main stuff out the way first. So we're gonna draw myself here in this background. Gonna put the hair down. So I asked this question a lot now that we're on the topic of High School Musical. High School Musical 2. Do y'all think Troy was tripping? Or do y'all think his friends was tripping? So, obviously this changes a lot the older I get. I do feel like in the grand scheme of things, like I said before, if I'm getting put on and my homies aren't, and I put my homies onto the job in the first place, and I see that my homies are getting mistreated, obviously I'm gonna speak up on that, right? My homies is my day ones. And if I put my day ones onto a job, I want to make sure they're eating the same way I am. That being said, I don't know. There's a part of me that feels like, I don't know. I have mixed feelings, and I don't want to seem like a L Mans for this take. But I feel like Troy securing his future was not a bad thing. I just feel like the way he went about it was wrong. Because there is a particular scene, right, where he was supposed to go to an open gym with the college that, you know, him and his dad dreamed about, right? He's just trying to secure that future. They's making a big deal out of it, because he didn't want to, like, mix it up randomly. Like, nigga, if I'm going to a pre-scheduled open gym, like where they got niggas organized, they got coaches and shit, nigga, I can't just fucking mix it up. Like, nigga, I have a schedule I gotta be on. And again, I'm not justifying Troy's shit, right? Because he did plan to kick it with the homies. If you plan to kick it with the homies, nigga, kick it with the homies. But same time, like, come on, y'all, we gotta be fucking for real. It's not me being bougie, it's not me being fake, nigga. Like, y'all niggas know how, y'all niggas especially know how open gyms work. Stop fucking playing with me. Alright. Now we go in and we have the smaller details. I think today's word of the day might be accountability. You would think in this day and age, especially with everything going on and, access to the internet, all that shit, that accountability would be a word that's properly understood and used. But I would say in my experience, it's not. And I'll tell you why. A lot of people say that they take accountability, right? A lot of people claim that they take accountability. Yet in my experience, a lot of people really don't know what that truly is. And let me break it down for you. In its truest form, accountability is being able to accept and take blame for your actions, your misdeeds. So, for example, if I forget to do something that somebody asked me to do, and that causes significant impact on somebody's life, or that, prohibits plans that somebody has, and I feel really guilty about my actions, and I recognize, the weight that my decisions had, I'll take accountability for that. And how I do that is by, again, accepting, what my actions, what my decisions, or lack thereof, the impact that that's had on people. And here's why I say that a lot of people don't really take accountability. What I'll see is false accountability. So, for example, in my experience, I've seen, let's say somebody did something wrong to me. In my experience, I've seen people say, well, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Or instead of admitting their fault in it, they'll give you every reason on why they made them do that. Essentially trying to flip the story and make it seem as if the person that feels wronged, it's their fault for them getting wronged in the first place. Now you're probably wondering, why did I choose the word accountability? Because I want for... Hold on a second. I want for people to truly take away something. I want for people, if you hear this and it resonates with you and you're like, all right, maybe I do this shit. Practice actual accountability. Accountability isn't, I'm sorry I made you feel this way, but I had X, Y, and Z going on. And no, it's not that. Accountability is, I recognize how I made you feel, and I apologize. It's not an excuse. It's not justification. It's just acceptance of how you made somebody feel. And acceptance of your actions. I think that might be a valid word of the day. Because even me, myself, I have to admit when I'm wrong. And I'm wrong quite often. It's something that people get with time, I'll definitely say. Alright, let's see how this looks without the See, this doesn't look too shabby. This doesn't look too bad at all. We just need to add some lines in there. So for this part in particular, yeah, that's what I want. However, here's what I'm going to do, because I do want those lines in there. I'm gonna make this reference, go back here, drop that in there. Alright, now here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set this to the same pencil that I'm using. I'm gonna lower this opacity, and that's all the way down. So this is gonna go all the way down. And what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna add erasing marks so that way we could see right where that is. Let me see how that looks first. Okay. I think I'm gonna erase the pencil marks once I'm done, so that way it'll make that pop more. Or do I want to keep that gray? Hold on. Kind of like it with the opacity down, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna just keep that opacity down. Alright. Time for some schmexy lines. That is not what I wanted. So the only thing that I've observed on Procreate when you're doing pencil line art is sometimes when you're trying to do the lazy approach and do the drag and drop, it may not always fill correctly. And that is because the lines are not cleaner and a lot of them aren't filled in. So that means that with this piece specifically, when it comes to the coloring, we're gonna really take our time. But that's okay, because I've also been watching a lot of tutorials on how to take our time, but also not really take our time. That'll all make sense in a moment. I don't know if we're gonna get to coloring today, but we'll see. I doubt it, but we could also be optimistic. Under normal circumstances, we might, but today's Wednesday, and that means early out Wednesday. You know we can't forget the hatching! Mm. Sorry if I'm getting quiet, I'm entering the flow state. J. Cole drops the Fall Off in 3 days. There's a lot of uproar regarding J. Cole right now. A lot of people still feel like he's still throwing jabs. More so at Drake this time around. And there's a lot of people that it's mixed. There's a lot of people that feel like J. Cole needs to stop. There's a lot of people that feel like J. Cole really would have flamed Kendrick if he had kept it going. And then there's obviously people with a neutral standpoint, like, hey, he would have lost a friend if he had kept it going. I stand by that belief of that beef was not even meant for J. Cole. Like, that was not J. Cole's fight. That beef was necessary. That was Drake's canon event. He needed to get humbled. And it's so funny to me because the Drake fans are still coping. Like, Kendrick hasn't shat on every argument, everything Drake has ever said. Drake said that Kendrick couldn't make bops. This nigga made a diss track into a fucking anthem for the West Coast. I promise you, when Not Like Us came out, literally everywhere I went, you would hear A minor. Nigga, I went into a fucking Michael's to get some fucking art shit for my job. And niggas were playing Not Like Us in the acrylic paint section. I'm driving down in the car with my parents, driving down traffic, multiple cars, slapping that shit. This is a beautiful thing about like going to different parts of the country, because you really see the difference in love when it comes to music. Because I'm not gonna lie, if I was on the East Coast, I feel like it would be more Drake fans. Because honestly, that's how it was for me for a while when I was like trying to solidify Kendrick's standpoint, his influence in this rap shit. I had a lot of Drake fans. Felt like I was fighting for my life, bro. But I felt like the older we got, some of those Drake fans became more Kendrick fans. And then, you know, some of those people still stayed diehard Drake fans, but it's all good. Hey, listen, I respect preference. I respect, you know, whatever you want to fuck with. But, the slander is what I don't tolerate. Respectfully, of course. Because niggas love to bring up numbers, but then when niggas start matching that numbers, then we want to talk about how shit's rigged and how we botting for views. Fuck out of here. Like, just cope. That's all it is, just cope. My vacation finna be over soon. Not sure how I feel about that one. I kinda like waking up at 10 a.m. as opposed to 6 p.m. Plus we're finna lose daylight savings too, man. Fuck. It's the one thing I don't like about my break around this time of the year. Same time, this is probably the biggest break. It's a 6-week break. And then we come back, it's 2-3 day weekends. Right now I'm just adding shadows for that extra detail. Okay, we don't want that. I swear I need my fucking art glove, bruh. I miss that shit. I would not have to deal with this shit at all when I had that. Shit, while we on the topic of childhood, what was y'all's childhood video game? Or like, give me a top 5. For me, and hold on, I'm finna pause drawing for this shit. Y'all gotta understand. Cause I've actually been replaying one of them for like the past couple months. Hold on, let's get a look. That's fire. I might have to trim up some of these lines though. Kingdom Hearts. And I'ma just automatic. Kingdom Hearts 2 is going in number 1. Hands down. Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Now some of y'all might say I'm tripping for not putting that at number 1, but you gotta understand, like Kingdom Hearts 2 is peak. Super Smash Brothers Melee. If you know, you know. That's where all the phases ran. Man. See, this is Tekken 4. A lot of people will say Tekken 5. That's acceptable too. I would say both. Tekken 4 and Tekken 5. But for me, personally, Tekken 4. Because that's the first Tekken game I ever played. And I know I want the last one to be a Sonic game. Sonic Adventure 2. The 5 games I just named were primarily in the main rotation. My brother had a GameCube, and we had a PS2. On the PS2, we was playing Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Shoot. There's so many games we were playing in my childhood, but I feel like the games I just named were the primary ones. I'm not gonna lie. If I had to give a top 5, that's definitely the ones for sure. The number 1 game we probably played the most, definitely Tenkaichi 3. I'd put Melee up there and Adventure 2. Nah, Tekken 4. We was all running sets in Tekken 4. Mom was running sets in Tekken 4. We was all running sets in Tekken 4. Without a doubt, Tekken 4. Granted, there's other classics like GTA, San Andreas, nigga. We had Guitar Hero, God of War, Metal Gear. Shit, we didn't get it. All right, so we got a Wii when it first came out. So I mean, if we really want to get specific, if we count the Wii games, we could really put Wii Sports in that motherfucker because everybody was on Wii Sports. We was getting it cracking. Shit, what else could we put? Legend of Zelda for sure. The only reason I don't say childhood for me is because I didn't play my first Zelda game actually until maybe the Wii U came out, and I know that's wild, but hear me out. I really wasn't the biggest Zelda fan. The only reason I knew of Link is because of Smash. So I didn't play Ocarina of Time until the Wii U came out. And even then, when I played Ocarina of Time for the first time, it actually wasn't the Nintendo 64 one, it was the one on the DS. I didn't go back and play the Nintendo 64 one until like high school. Same with Majora's Mask. That shit is scary as fuck. Let me know what your top 5 childhood games are. And we could go all day about that, and with consoles. With consoles, hands down, PS2. Without a doubt, PS2. I know a lot of people will say the Wii, but for me and my family, it was definitely PS2. PS2. I would say the Wii next. Original Xbox. And I'm really like lenient with the original Xbox, but that's only because my brother had the original Xbox and we was running hella games on there like Jet Set Radio, the X-Men Origins game, Capcom versus SMK. Like we was really getting shit popping on that Xbox. Definitely GameCube. I would say that honestly, we played more games on the GameCube than the Xbox, so low key, I'm gonna put GameCube above Xbox. Like I said, we had Melee, we had Sonic Adventure 2, we had Sonic Mega Collection, Sonic Heroes, we had Mario Kart Double Dash. Motherfucking Mario Party. Shit, what else? We have Mario Golf, Shadow the Hedgehog. I know we loved running around in shadows shooting niggas. My mom heard my brother playing that game. She was like, oh dear. While I didn't have it on GameCube, going back and playing this one was pretty fun. Twilight Princess. So many more classics. Luigi's Mansion. The GameCube was definitely a time to be alive, I'll say. I be having moments where I'm like, I wish I could just go back, be a kid. And there's definitely that part of me that's still there. Like, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking as a kid saying I want to be an adult. I will slap the shit out of myself. Hell no. But at the same time, I'm grateful for where I'm at. I'm grateful for what I have right now. And I don't want to take any of that for granted. Especially in the current state of the world. I don't know, every day to be alive is a blessing. And that's something I gotta remind myself quite often. Like, not only am I living somebody else's prayer right now, but I'm living past me's prayer. There is me sleeping on the couch praying for exactly what I got right now. I don't want to take that shit for granted. There was a me staying with my dad, bruh. With poor mental health, poor self-esteem. There was a version of me that was hella antisocial. I struggled to socialize. And now there's a me being a leader to people. So it's all see, I'm torn between today's word of the day being grace or accountability. I'm leaning toward grace though, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I talked about this in my last video when it comes to line art. If you finish your line art and you turn that sketch layer off and that shit feels naked, that is your sign that you need to add more. Whether that be different strokes, whether that be more detail, whether that be shadows, whatever you feel is right. Because even right now, I'm not fully comfortable with this. There's definitely shit that I'm gonna like. I definitely feel like there shouldn't be too much shadow right here. I feel like there's too much shadow right here. But then again, that shit might be fine and I might be tripping. I don't know. I'm gonna see. We're gonna find out. But with line art, you should experiment, right? It's not meant to be like the original sketch. Okay, maybe I am fucking with that and I'm just tripping. You know, the more I think about it, maybe I can make both words of the day. With accountability and grace. Because I feel like that's one thing people don't look for when they want somebody to take accountability. Like, they get it and it's authentic and then they're like, okay, now what? I think grace should most definitely come with accountability. If somebody's able to admit their wrongdoings, especially if it wasn't intentional and it was accidental, give them grace. Yeah, and I'm not saying give them grace immediately. Grace is, especially if they made you feel hurt, they made you feel. What I'm saying is that it's not going to come immediately. But I definitely do feel like if somebody is taking true accountability for their actions and they want to mend something with you, give them grace. Oh my god, I just love what hatching does. Yes! Just love what hatching does. Alright, I think we're good with Timmy. I really don't have to do much with me. Matter of fact, we might have enough time to do that shit now. Yeah, ain't really much detail we need to add to this last part. Cool. And with that, our line art is complete. Might I say this is probably the most proud I've ever been of a line art. Granted, again, there might be things that I might take away and I might add. For example, I have mixed feelings on the hatching on his body. But I want to see how well it mixes when I lay down the colors. So, we'll see. If you like this video, you already know what to do. I don't need to remind you, but in case I do, because niggas be forgetting, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow the socials. You already know what to do. I don't need to remind you. And with that being said, have a great day. And when you come back, we're going to lay down some colors for this one. Peace.